Hello and welcome, jugglers, to my 5-club cascade journey to 100 catches / tutorial video. I hope this video can be useful, motivational, and because the video is long, I will have a chapter selection tool in the description box. If you have already started, plan on starting, or have hopes to start to learn to juggle 5 clubs, I do think this video is going to be very useful, so feel free to stick around and watch the whole thing, or just watch the bits and pieces that you think will help you out the most. My name is Phil. I'm going to be doing a little 5-club study on learning the cascade. I've noticed that there are several tutorials out on YouTube, however they can be pretty unhelpful because when you're learning from someone who already knows how to do it, sometimes they don't really address the various issues or problems that you might have while learning. So I'm on day 4 of learning the 5-club cascade, and I just want to follow my progress through the next few weeks, months, however long it takes to get to 100 catches to show you guys how long that might take. So rather than saying practice 4 club exercises like 5-5-5-1, 5-5-5-5-0, and so on, I'm going to give you day by day, step by step advice on specific problems that I'm going through while learning the cascade. Before I start, I want to say some of the things that I can already do just so that you can have a baseline for what my skill level is going into this. My ball juggling is quite a bit ahead of my club juggling at this point. I can do 1 high, 4 lows in a few tries. I've gotten over 100 catches with 7 balls, and I qualified a 7-ball, 5-up 360. As for clubs, the last 3 weeks I've worked pretty hard on 4 clubs, getting 5-3-4 down, and I can do 7-5-3-1 pretty consistently. And prior to this, I've really not done 5 clubs much at all, maybe 30 minutes combined in my entire life. So that's really not much at all if you think about it. So I'm just really going to give this a shot. I mean, I'm making this video. If I don't succeed, it's going to be a pretty boring video. So I just want to track my progress, and as well as going through the road to getting to 100 catches, I'll give you guys some pointers and some struggles that I'm sure you'll have as well as me, and how to get past those and continue to make progress. So we'll see how this goes. Today is day 17 of 5-club juggling, exactly 22 days since when I started. And I want to start off by saying this, and I think it goes without saying, but learning 5 clubs and getting good at 4 club tricks, or any number of clubs for that matter, it's all about controlling the spin. I'm still learning. Everyone is still learning how to get better at controlling the spin. Some of the struggles that I've had so far from day 1 all the way through right now, which is day 17, all of these still plague me to some extent. Number 1 is the release of 5 clubs. For the first few days, it's just not being able to qualify, or just struggling with not being able to get many catches at all. The pattern being too low, the pattern being too wide, overspinning the clubs, having one hand spin more than the other, having one hand throw more forward than the other, and difficulty collecting. Now I'll run through them in a little bit more detail. So the first one is the release. Now this one depends a little bit about how you hold 3 clubs in your hand or in the one hand. And I don't go with the circus grip, I go with the other one, which is having each club one on top of the next. So you can look up videos to see what I mean by that if you don't know already. But with the release, you just got to practice it. I mean, if you're struggling with it, keep doing it. You will get better at it. So that's really the only thing that you can do for that one. There's no drills or anything. The next one is just struggling with having short runs all the time. Now this one, I didn't have a whole lot of difficulty. Even from day 1, I was qualifying every now and again. And this one, maybe if you can't get runs at all, you just might not be ready to start learning 5 clubs. And if that isn't the case, you just need to work on it more. As you get better at the release, the next throws or the throws following the release will become easier. So those two kind of run together. And I think before too long, like within the first week, if you're really practicing, you'll be able to get qualifies and it'll be nothing special. So then, let's see, the next one is the pattern being too low. And the pattern being too low, too wide, and overspinning, these are all kind of grouped together. As for being too low, this is just extremely common. It happens to me every day. And all you got to focus on is throwing higher, which would seem like it would make it overspin, but you need to just put a lot of effort into keeping your wrist really smooth so that you don't overspin it. So just feel like you're throwing a super high single and it'll end up being a double. And the other one is the pattern being too wide. Now, when the pattern starts to get lower and lower, it starts to become wider and wider just automatically. Now these things will just frustrate the heck out of you just like it did with me. You just need to focus on keeping every throw as high as the last one. I don't think these two things can be avoided. It's just you need to work through them. And again, there's no drill for this. You just need to flat out be persistent. And to help with the overspinning, work on some of the 4 club drills. I'll mention some later about throwing really high doubles and really controlling the spin on those. And the next one is having one hand spin more than the other. This one, the one thing that I did was the one hand that's overspinning. Let's see, I don't know if it's my dominant hand or non-dominant. I'm assuming dominant. No, I don't know. Anyway, just whichever hand is overspinning, just feel like you're throwing a single. And the other hand, just have it keep doing what it was doing. And eventually that should work itself out. I really only had trouble with this for like a 5-day stretch, so I don't know if that'll be the same for you guys or not, but that was what happened for me. And the next one is having one hand throw more forward than the other. What I would say for this one is don't worry about the hand that's throwing too far forward, but rather the one that's throwing too close to yourself. Feel like you're pushing that club out there, and you're like pushing it forward, and I think that should fix that problem. And the last one is having difficulty collecting. For this, I don't think this is an issue you should really worry about right now. I think that as you become a stronger, and as I become a stronger 5-club juggler, it'll just become easier to collect, because if the last throws that are coming into your hands are perfect throws, it'll be a lot easier to have perfect catches. And now we'll move on to the drills that I use. And drills I really only use as warm-ups. Drills have their place, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to learn 5 clubs, you got to juggle 5 clubs. So what I use is the 5-5-2 drill, and this is going to be tough. Don't watch some person say, here, do this drill, and assume that the drill will be easy. The drill is actually kind of hard. And just work on getting those 2 5s really high with slow double spins. And as you can start to get that with more, or that side swap with more rounds, it'll really help 5 clubs. And the other one, which I alluded to earlier, is the 4-club normal fountain with really high throws. So continue to throw doubles, just throw them really high and lofty and slow. And just getting better at controlling this will help you. And the last drill is my favorite. Juggle 4 clubs. Juggle singles. Juggle triples. Learn 5-3-4. Learn anything you want. Again, if you are getting better at controlling the spin on this club and being able to throw high throws in doubles or anything, just controlling the spin, it will help you juggle 5 clubs. Straight up. That's how it works. And again, today was day 17 of juggling 5 clubs. I'm starting to really overcome throwing it low. So all the way up through this point, it's throwing them too low has been a big problem. And today was kind of a breakthrough day. I actually got my record to this point, which is 53 catches, so I'm a little over halfway to my 100 goal. And after just focusing on all of these things, I'm finally starting to put that into action and keep those throws high, lofty, and controlled. So just keep at it and you'll get it. And my last piece of advice that I'll leave you with is on my practice structure. I personally don't follow the pyramid practice structure. I think it's boring. If it works for you, great. I've heard it's powerful. I've heard a lot of people have had some success with it. But what I do is I juggle a medium length run. I go and go and go until the pattern starts to seem unstable. Then I attempt, and that's the key word, I attempt to collect them all. Now, you're not going to collect them all, not even close to half the time. Just try to catch them. Usually I drop 2 or 3 or 1. Sometimes I'll collect them, but just try to collect them all. I don't go and go and go and then just drop them all the time. I do try to collect them. From day 17 through 43, which is over half of my practice days, I still had some issues with one hand spinning more or less than the other hand, and also I'd throw one hand a little higher or lower than the other hand. To fix this, I just really focused on the hand that threw incorrectly. Other than persistence, which is really important, the biggest piece of advice that I can give you guys is to stay loose and relaxed. If you're tense, it's not going to go very well for you. On the last few days of this experiment, I had some difficulties getting 100 catches on camera. On day 45, which is the last day of my journey, I did get 100 catches, but the camera was off. So I picked up my clubs again and proceeded to try to get to 100. And of course, something bad happened. One of my knobs fell off the club, so I left and went to a hardware store and got some glue to glue it back on, and I did, and the next day, another knob broke. I'd had these clubs for 9 months, and this is the first time it's happened, now twice in a row with 2 different clubs. So I glued that one, and on the next day, both of those ones broke. So I was frustrated, I went back, I glued them, I waited for like 3 days, and then I went back and finally got this next clip. So after all this, I finally got 100 catches. This has been a really cool experiment and experience for me. It's probably the most frustrating thing I've ever done juggling, and that's saying something because juggling is frustrating. I practiced a lot, and it took 45 days to finish, 45 days of practice, 2 calendar months to the day to finish this project. Please check out my practice log for exact details on how much I did practice each of these days, and for other information. Now, I hope this video has been helpful and motivational, so go out and learn how to juggle the 5-club cascade.